This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hello everyone, my name is Wendy Beckman and I'm a registered dietitian with the New York State Office for the Aging and SnapEd New York. Thanks for joining me today on What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Today I'm going to be making salmon cakes. We will be posting the link to the recipe below, and the recipe can also be found on the SnapEd New York website at www.snapedny.org. These salmon cakes are high in protein and low in saturated fat. Limiting saturated fat is important for heart health. This recipe makes 3 servings. Each serving is 82 calories. It has only 1 gram of saturated fat and 11 grams of protein. Before I start cooking, let's look at the My Plate graphic. This recipe covers the protein section on the My Plate graphic. Salmon is a great form of lean protein. You want to vary your protein routine by including both low-fat animal sources of protein, like fish, poultry, eggs, and low-fat dairy in your diet, and make sure to include vegetable forms of protein like legumes, nuts, and seeds. We need high-quality protein every day to repair cells in our bodies. As we age, our bodies use protein less efficiently than when we were younger, so you want to make sure you include enough high-quality proteins in your diet, and this recipe is a great way to do it. Remember that everything you eat and drink over time matters. Make every bite count by finding your healthy eating style and maintaining it for a lifetime. The right mix can help you be healthier now and in the future. Before we get into this recipe, last month I made pasta with roasted vegetables. If you didn't get a chance to see that video, you can view it on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page or the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel. So let's get into making some salmon cakes. Remember to wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer before you start cooking. Let's look at the ingredients for this recipe. Here I have 1 cup of cooked, skinless, and boneless salmon. You can use fresh, frozen, or canned salmon. I think this recipe is a great way to use some leftover salmon that you might have from dinner the night before. Here I'm using canned salmon. I actually have 2 5-ounce cans of salmon here, which is a little more than a cup. Here I have an egg. We have a 1/4 cup of chopped fresh onion. I have 1/4 cup of tomatoes diced. Now you can use fresh or low sodium canned. And here I'm using canned tomatoes. Remember, it's okay to use canned and frozen items. It can help cut down on the amount of preparation and cutting that you have to do for your recipes. Here I have 3 tablespoons of fresh cilantro. This is a 1/2 cup of whole wheat breadcrumbs. And here is a tablespoon of lemon pepper seasoning. Now the first thing that you need to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This bowl here, I'm going to put my salmon in here and break it apart with a fork. So when it's canned, it sort of comes in chunks, and you might need to break it up a little bit more. If you're using fresh salmon that maybe you cooked the night before, you might have to break it up a little bit more. So this is very similar sort of to tuna fish that comes in a can. It sort of comes in some chunks, and you want to sort of break it up and make sure that it's in some nice small pieces here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, next we're going to add all of the other ingredients to this bowl. So the first thing I'm going to do is break this egg and beat it slightly. So best way to do this is sort of crack it on the side of the bowl. Don't get the shells in there. You don't want to do that. And then you can use a fork or a whisk and just sort of beat it so that it's nicely incorporated with the yolk and the whites. There we go. Now this will help to sort of hold that mixture together. So let's put in some of these other ingredients. I'm going to put the tomatoes in first. And then I'm going to put in the onions and the cilantro or parsley, whatever you want to use. You can use dried or fresh, whatever you have. We're going to put in the breadcrumbs. Get that in there. And the lemon pepper seasoning. I think this really adds a nice flavor to these salmon patties. And then last, I'm going to put the eggs in. There we go. And we have to mix all this together and incorporate it. So the eggs are going to help sort of keep everything together when you make the patties, and they go in the oven. So let's make sure that all of the breadcrumbs are moistened. You want to make sure that the tomatoes and the cilantro, all of it has some of the egg mixture on it. And we want to make sure that we get that lemon pepper seasoning all throughout the mixture here. All right. So that looks pretty good. It smells really good too. So I'm going to take that off of the spoon. The next thing we have to do is make some of the patties, and before they go into the oven, we have to prepare our pan. So let me get the baking pan. Here it is, and I am going to put some baking spray in here, just so that they don't stick to the bottom. Just a little bit is all you need. If you want to use olive oil instead, you absolutely can do that. So this should make about 3 patties. Because I had a little bit more than a cup of salmon, it might come out a little bit larger than that, but you can make them just like you would make, you know, a sausage patty or a hamburger patty, same kind of idea. If you have a little bit of extra moisture in there, you could sort of squeeze some of that out while you're making them. And you want to make each patty about 3 ounces. Keep in mind that 3 ounces is about the size of a deck of cards. I'm going to have patties that are a little bit larger than that because I had a little bit more than 1 cup of salmon. And once we add all those other things in there, they're going to come out a little bit larger. Okay, there's 2 of them. And we'll get 1 more out of here. And depending on how large you make them, you may find that, you know, you end up with 4 patties. It really sort of depends. So let's get some of that out of there. If you use canned tomatoes, like I've done here, just make that sure that you drain them pretty well. I have some little extra moisture in there, but that's all right. So that looks pretty good. So those are ready to go into the oven. But first, I am going to wash my hands because we were using raw eggs. So if you use raw eggs, you get them all over your hands, you got to wash your hands after that, okay? All right, so now that we have the cakes in our pan and we washed our hands, now we can put them in the oven. I think that alternatively, you could put the salmon cakes in a frying pan and cook them until they are heated through. Now you want to put them in the oven. If you are going to put them in the oven, you put them in for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to go do that now. And I'm going to show you some salmon cakes that I made earlier. You can see they've gotten sort of nicely brown. Now I think that these salmon cakes would be a great addition to a salad, or you can put them on a roll, like a whole wheat roll, and serve them sort of like a burger. I think it would make a great lunch, really nice light lunch for the summer months. So I hope that this recipe gave you some more ideas on how to incorporate lean protein into your diet. Join me next month in September when I'll be making a brown rice pilaf with sage, walnuts, and dried fruit. This recipe is a nice warm side dish, perfect for fall. We'll be back with another edition of What's Cooking with NYSOFA on Friday, September 22nd at 12:30 p.m. on the New York State Office for the Aging Facebook page and the New York State Office for the Aging YouTube channel, where you can find out more ways to save time, save money, and eat healthy. This presentation was funded by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Stay safe, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material is funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Hi, I'm Registered Dietitian Wendy Beckman, host of What's Cooking with NYSOFA. Over the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to share healthy, nutritious recipes with you on the show. I work for the New York State Office for the Aging, and thanks to a partnership with SNAP-Ed New York, our nutrition team reaches hundreds of thousands of older New Yorkers each year. So why a cooking program? 60% of health costs and related issues have nothing to do with health, but instead have to do with individual behaviors like our food choices and physical activity. The recipes we feature are nutritionally appropriate for older adults, meeting critical nutrition requirements for healthy aging. What I bet you don't know is that this show is only part of a larger effort. To help me explain what our nutrition team at the New York State Office for the Aging does and what a registered dietitian is, here is registered dietitian Lisbeth Irish.
A registered dietitian is a professional who has training and education in food and nutrition. To become an RD, you must complete certain requirements, including a minimum of a bachelor's degree from an institution that's accredited by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. You must also pass a national examination and meet continuing education requirements. What does that mean? As RDs, we are qualified to offer accurate advice about nutrition, and we can help answer your questions about how diet can affect your health. At NYSOFA, the registered dietitians handle many tasks. This includes hosting 2 online programs aimed at helping older New Yorkers make better nutrition choices. These programs are What's Cooking with NYSOFA, which is our monthly cooking demonstration, and a Facebook Live program that I host called Ask the Experts, Nutrition Edition. In the months ahead, be on your lookout for it. We'll be sharing your questions and our experts' answers about nutrition and health. New episodes of Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition debut the second Friday of each month on Facebook and YouTube.
As Lisbeth explained, registered dietitians at NYSOFA handle many tasks, including food safety at congregate meal sites, educational materials, and outreach. In the meantime, please don't miss an episode of either show produced by our team, What's Cooking with NYSOFA and Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition. Every episode is uploaded to YouTube, and you'll find the archive shows there.
Do you have a question about foods? Or do you have a particular health issue that you'd like to improve by changing your diet? Tune in to Ask the Experts Nutrition Edition every second Friday at 1 p.m. We'd love to hear from you.
Remember, registered dietitians are the experts in nutrition. Visit for more sound advice about eating healthy on a budget.